Joshua Van just picked up a victory over the weekend against Bruno Silva, getting the third round stoppage. Just a day after getting that win, he already got his next fight scheduled, and his next fight is just in 3 weeks' time, less than 3 weeks' time, and it's a huge one for his career.
Oh, what's up, y'all? Manel Kape is out. Joshua Van is stepping in. I have zero idea on the extent of Manel Kape's injuries, but I do know that I have the hottest prospect and probably the most exciting UFC flyweight in front of me. So really nothing changes for me as far as what's in front of me. I got a gangster that's ready to take my head off and earn his name off of me. So appreciate the matchup, and then also just excited to just be in what I think is probably the most exciting matchup in the flyweight division and be aligned on the same flyweight title card as Pantoja and Kai Kara-France. So let's get it.
So that's Brandon Royval versus Joshua Van, UFC 317, June 28th at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. That's the card, which is headlined by Topuria versus Oliveira. What the F? Van just fought is what one fan says, and Royval respects it. Dude's as real as it comes. It is kind of crazy because this will be his 6th fight in less than a year. The other crazy part is Van's going to be ranked around number 12 when the new rankings come out this week, and he's fighting a guy 11 spots ahead of him, the number one contender in the division. It's very rare, 12 fights number one, but that's happening in this division now. Van, after the win, called out Moreno, which seemed too high of a jump at number 2, but he actually got something better. He got the number 1 ranked guy with Royval. If he wins this fight, he might get a title shot. And Van is only 23, so this sets him up for a huge opportunity if he can get the victory. I think Van has a pretty good chance to win this fight. Royval has the experiential edge. Has more fights, and he's fought more tougher competition in the UFC, but it might not matter in this fight because Joshua Van, there's a good chance he's going to outstrike him. He's going to outland him. He throws a tremendous amount of volume. Both throw a lot of strikes, but Van sets kind of records with the strikes he's been throwing. 750 strikes, the quickest to achieve 750 strikes in the UFC. Him and Joanna Jędrzejczyk are tied. They did that in 7 fights. So the other thing is Van hits harder than Royval. Royval, when he hits you, a lot of those shots are kind of pitter-patter shots. He's just touching you, not doing massive damage with a lot of those shots, but Van is hitting with a lot of damage. He's hurting these guys, and he's constantly throwing strikes, constantly in your face, landing punches, and he doesn't get tired. And Royval, I don't think he's going to be able to take Van down. His takedown defense is really good. If he happens to get taken down, he gets up really quickly and then starts landing a bunch of shots on you. So it will be definitely an interesting fight. The flyweight division needs new contenders, and that's probably part of the reason why they're giving Van this opportunity, because they need new guys to fight for the belt, and if Van gets the victory, he probably will fight for the belt. Van, after getting the victory of the weekend, bought his mom a house. He promised that he would if he got the victory, and he stayed true to his word. As far as Manel Kape's injury goes, it was a foot fracture, and it was sustained during sparring when he threw a kick.
Start kicking that body through that hand. Yes. You all right?
Kape says, with great regret, I come to inform you that I'm out of UFC 317 competition. Suffered a foot fracture during training after medical evaluation. I was instructed as surgery and focused 100% on recovery. Not easy to stay out of something I've been preparing with so much dedication, and without a doubt, this would have been my most advantaged fight of my career, but I understand this is just another challenge on the way. I trust the plans that Allah has for me. I sincerely thank everyone who is with me. We will remain firm, stronger with each obstacle. The battle was only postponed. I'll be back soon. Kape was very critical of Royval when Royval pulled out of their fight, so Royval reminds him of that quote, 4 weeks for the fight worth the place for the belt. The chills, nausea, panic already starting to take place in the body of little puppy Brandon Royval. I won't be surprised if he runs away from this fight. But Kape, as a response to that, he says, the thing is, I don't pull out from a fight for diarrhea and concussions. If I don't break my bones, I keep fighting. I'm different. Don't compare yourself to me. He also adds, I've already suffered several injuries during training, and I don't think I've ever entered a fight without an injury and 100% healthy, but pull out of the fight was never optional unless I can't walk. Just to make it clear, this is the second time I get out of a fight for injuries that surgery is necessary. Kape also posted a picture of his fractured foot x-ray as well as him in crutches now. Manel Kape's UFC career has been riddled with issues, weight misses, and cancellations. Just this year, he's had 2 canceled fights with Brandon Royval. Last year, he had 2 canceled fights with Mateusz Nicolau, one because he weighed in over the limit. In 2023, he had 3 canceled fights with France, Figueiredo, and Perez. In 2022, he had 2 canceled fights with Bontarine and Su Mudaerji. 2021, he missed weight for his fight with Ode Osborne. In 2020, he had 2 canceled fights with Pantoja and Bontarine. That was supposed to be his 2 first fights in the UFC, so his UFC career started off a little shaky and got worse. If Kape beat Royval, he probably would have gotten the title shot against Pantoja. Pantoja's a guy Merab says he would fight if Pantoja decides to move up a weight class to bantamweight, and the UFC puts that together.
If he will move up in my weight class and UFC interesting with that, no problem. That would be a fight. I'm sure a lot of people will be interesting, and no problem. I respect Pantoja. Pantoja will be a top opponent for me. And if Pantoja wants this and if UFC wants this, I have no problem with that.
Sandhagen would be pissed off if that happened, but Sandhagen's probably getting the next shot. And 2 and 3, Jan and Nurmagomedov will probably fight next. Magomed Ankalaev was recently saying Pereira's done, never coming back, saying Pereira turned down rematch offers in June, July, and August. Pereira responds by saying Ankalaev's just trying to hype himself up as a champ, but hasn't earned real credibility yet. As for his return, Pereira says he's taking some time to heal, and he plans to train in Brazil for about a month before locking in a fight. He's targeting a rematch sometime between September and November. October, he says, is most likely. He emphasized he doesn't need a full reinvention for the rematch, just some minor adjustments. Since he mentioned October, probably October 4th, UFC 320 in the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. That's when the rematch would take place. So 317 would be Topuria Oliveira, 318 Holloway Poirier, 319 DDP versus Hamzat, and 320 probably Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev. So no pay-per-views in September, but they'll probably make the UFC Fight Night Noche card on Saturday, September 13th pretty good. And they're also going to Paris again on September 6th.